The autumn fog wrapped the town in an ethereal embrace, casting an otherworldly veil over the landscape as Jake made his way to the school bus stop. The skeletal branches of trees reached out through the mist, creating an atmosphere of unspoken unease. Alone at the deserted bus stop, Jake heard a distant rustle in the fog, an unsettling sound that set his nerves on edge. The looming shadows of trees and dim streetlights offered little comfort. When the school bus arrived, its flickering lights painted eerie patterns on the fog-laden road. Seated at the back, surrounded by emptiness, Jake felt a palpable unease as the bus took an unfamiliar route. The driver, with sunken eyes and an unsettling demeanor, assured him it was a shortcut. The fog outside seemed to come alive with shadowy figures, and whispers filled the air. When Jake questioned the deviation from the usual path, the driver's response sent a chill down his spine. The bus halted in a desolate place, the driver's eyes hollow as he declared it was Jake's stop. Alone in the unfamiliar fog, Jake walked into an ancient cemetery, whispers guiding him toward a hidden mausoleum. Inside, he uncovered a journal revealing a cursed bus route where lost souls were ensnared in a spectral commute. The bus reappeared, its driver transformed into a ghastly figure, beckoning Jake aboard. As the bus vanished into the fog, Jake realized he had become part of a haunting journey between the realms of the living and the dead. The echoes of distant whispers lingered in the dissipating fog, leaving behind a town and its people lost to the mysterious and eternal commute. The cursed bus continued its spectral route, a ghostly procession haunting mist-laden roads, forever seeking new, unsuspecting travelers to join its otherworldly journey to nowhere. The highway stretched out like a desolate ribbon, cutting through the heart of the wilderness. A lone truck rumbled along the asphalt, its headlights piercing the oppressive darkness that surrounded it. The driver, known only as Red, was a seasoned trucker with a reputation that preceded him. Some called him the horror truck driver, a moniker earned through whispered tales that echoed in truck stops and diners along his route. Red's truck was an imposing behemoth, its exterior adorned with faded, cryptic symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy when caught in the glow of passing streetlights. The cargo he transported was shrouded in mystery, and those who inquired about it were met with a steely gaze and a silence that hung heavy in the air. One stormy night, Red received a call to transport a peculiar cargo to an undisclosed location. The voice on the other end was low and gravelly, revealing nothing about the nature of the freight. The promise of a hefty payout convinced Red to accept the job, despite the ominous tone of the conversation. As the wheels of his rig churned the rain-soaked asphalt, Red became acutely aware of an unsettling presence in the cab. The air seemed charged with an eerie energy, and shadows flickered in the corners of his vision. The cargo in the trailer emitted an otherworldly hum, sending shivers down his spine. The road twisted and turned through dense woods, the branches clawing at the truck as if trying to drag it into the abyss. Unnerving whispers permeated the air, blending with the howling wind to create a symphony of dread. Red's eyes darted nervously between the rearview mirrors, half expecting to catch a glimpse of something that should not be there. As the truck ventured deeper into the heart of the night, the forest around him seemed to come alive with malevolent intent. Strange figures darted between the trees, their silhouettes illuminated by flashes of lightning. Red's hands clenched the steering wheel, knuckles turning white as the spectral shapes closed in on his truck. The radio crackled to life with a burst of static, followed by a voice that seemed to echo from the void. "You carry more than freight tonight, Red," it whispered, sending a chill down his spine. The symbols on the truck's exterior began to glow with an unnatural intensity, casting an ominous light that painted the surrounding forest in surreal hues. As Red approached the designated drop-off point, the storm reached its zenith. The rain fell in torrents, and the wind howled like tormented souls. The cargo, now pulsating with an otherworldly glow, seemed to vibrate with a life of its own. The air crackled with a malevolent energy, and the very fabric of reality seemed to warp and twist around the truck. When Red finally came to a stop in the heart of the wilderness, the cargo's glow intensified, casting long, distorted shadows that danced on the trees. The oppressive silence that followed was shattered by an unearthly wail that echoed through the night, a chorus of voices from beyond. As Red cautiously opened the trailer, he was met with a sight that would haunt his nightmares for years to come. The cargo held not physical objects, but ethereal remnants of the departed. their ghostly forms swirling in a spectral maelstrom. The voices intensified, telling tales of tragedy, betrayal, and unspeakable horror. With a guttural scream, Red slammed the trailer shut, the symbols on his truck flickering and fading. As he raced to leave the cursed drop-off point, the storm abated, and the figures in the forest retreated into the shadows. The once imposing symbols on the truck now appeared as mere scratches on weathered metal. Red's reputation as the horror truck driver grew, but he never spoke of that night. The haunted whispers of the cargo lingered in his ears, and the road ahead seemed longer and more treacherous than ever. As he continued his journeys through the desolate highways, the memory of that cursed night stayed with him, a permanent stain on the fabric of his existence. The horror truck driver, forever bound to the spectral echoes of the freight he carried, became a legend, a cautionary tale among those who dared to traverse the shadowy realms between the living and the dead. In the quaint town of Raven's Hollow, nestled between ancient woods and rolling hills, there was a legend that whispered through the community, a tale known only as the Phantom Phone Call. It was said that, once every decade, a mysterious call would come in the dead of night, foretelling an ominous event that would unfold within the town's quiet streets. The townsfolk dismissed the story as mere folklore, passed down through generations. However, when the hands of the clock pointed to midnight on the eve of the town's centennial celebration, the eerie legend was about to unfold in chilling reality. Emma Lawson, a young woman with an insatiable curiosity, had recently moved to Raven's Hollow. Intrigued by the town's history, she delved into its folklore and legends, stumbling upon the enigmatic story of the Phantom Phone Call. As the townspeople prepared for the grand celebration, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the legend than met the eye. On the eve of the centennial, Emma's phone rang with an unfamiliar number. Hesitant, she answered, only to be greeted by an otherworldly voice that sent shivers down her spine. "Beware, Emma Lawson. The shadows carry whispers, and Raven's Hollow will witness a night draped in darkness," the voice intoned before the line went dead. Perturbed but intrigued, Emma tried to dismiss the call as an elaborate prank. However, as the night unfolded, an unsettling energy gripped Raven's Hollow. The air turned thick with an unspoken tension, and a sense of foreboding settled over the town like a heavy fog. As the clock struck midnight, the first ominous event occurred, a flicker of the streetlights that plunged the town square into momentary darkness. The celebratory atmosphere transformed into a hushed unease as a chill wind swept through, carrying with it an unsettling whisper that seemed to echo the warnings of the Phantom Phone Call. The townspeople exchanged nervous glances, and Emma, haunted by the mysterious call, began to piece together the pieces of the legend. Desperate to unravel the truth, she sought out the town's elders, hoping to gain insight into the origins of the Phantom Phone Call and its connection to the centennial celebration. In a dimly lit room filled with dusty books and ancient artifacts, Emma discovered a hidden truth that sent a cold shiver down her spine. The legend was not just a tale of superstition, but a warning, an otherworldly communication that transcended time and space. The Phantom Phone Call had been a guardian, a spectral force trying to protect Raven's Hollow from a malevolent event that occurred once every century. As Emma raced against time to decipher the cryptic messages hidden within the legend, the events in Raven's Hollow took a darker turn. Shadows seemed to materialize in the corners of the townspeople's vision, and the very air crackled with an ominous energy. The once joyous celebration turned into a nightmarish spectacle, with unexplained phenomena casting the town into chaos. In her quest for answers, Emma uncovered a forgotten ritual that had taken place a century ago, a dark ceremony that had bound the fate of Raven's Hollow to an ancient force. The Phantom Phone Call had tried to warn the town, but its messages had been dismissed as mere superstition. Realizing that she held the key to breaking the century-old curse, Emma gathered a group of courageous townspeople willing to confront the malevolent force threatening Raven's Hollow. Together, they retraced the steps of the forgotten ritual, seeking to unravel the dark magic that bound their town to a night of perpetual horror. As the clock ticked toward the final hour of the centennial celebration, Emma and her companions faced the ancient force head-on. The shadows converged, whispering malevolence, but the determined group persevered. With a triumphant chant, they broke the curse that had gripped Raven's Hollow for 100 years. In the aftermath, as dawn broke and the first light of morning touched the town, Emma received one final call. The same otherworldly voice spoke, expressing gratitude for breaking the curse that had bound Raven's Hollow. The phantom phone call, no longer a harbinger of doom, faded away into the echoes of history. Raven's Hollow, now free from the specter of the phantom phone call, emerged from the darkness with a newfound resilience. The centennial celebration, once marred by the shadows of the past, transformed into a triumph of unity and courage. As the sun rose over the rejuvenated town, the legend of the phantom phone call became a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to face the unknown and rewrite the destiny that had haunted them for generations. In the quiet town of Willow Creek, nestled between dense woods and rolling hills, a sinister shadow lurked within the community. A chilling mystery unfolded beneath the facade of suburban tranquility. Children were disappearing without a trace, leaving behind grief-stricken families and a town gripped by fear. The tale of the disappearing children became a whispered nightmare among parents, a haunting reality that no one dared to acknowledge. It all began innocently enough, with a child named Lily Sanders vanishing on her way home from school. The town, initially dismissing it as a tragic but isolated incident, soon found itself plunged into a nightmarish cycle. One by one, children of various ages and backgrounds disappeared under the cloak of darkness, leaving behind a chilling void in their homes and hearts. The local authorities were baffled, their investigations leading to dead ends and false hopes. Panic spread through Willow Creek like wildfire, and parents kept their children indoors, fearful that the very streets they once considered safe were now a breeding ground for an unseen terror. As the town's desperation grew, whispers of an ancient curse began to circulate among the townspeople. The legend spoke of an old oak tree deep within the heart of the woods, a tree said to be cursed by an entity that hungered for the souls of the innocent. Skeptical at first, the townsfolk dismissed the legend as a desperate attempt to make sense of the inexplicable. Amelia Turner, a determined journalist and mother of one of the missing children, refused to accept the town's paralysis in the face of terror. Driven by grief and a relentless need for answers, she delved into the town's history, uncovering the roots of the ancient curse that had been whispered about for generations. As Amelia unearthed the town's dark secrets, she discovered that Willow Creek had been built upon an ancient burial ground. The oak tree at the center of the legend was said to be a conduit between the world of the living and the restless spirits trapped in the afterlife. It was believed that a vengeful entity had awakened, seeking to reclaim the souls of the children as a twisted form of retribution for disturbing its eternal slumber. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Amelia rallied a group of parents who, fueled by desperation and a glimmer of hope, ventured into the heart of the haunted woods. The moon cast an eerie glow through the gnarled branches as they approached the cursed oak tree, its twisted roots seeming to writhe in anticipation. As the group performed a ritual to appease the vengeful entity, the air thickened with an otherworldly tension. Shadows danced among the trees, and the forest seemed to come alive with spectral energy. A haunting wail echoed through the night, sending shivers down the spines of those who dared to confront the ancient curse. Just as hope began to wane, the ghostly figures of the missing children materialized around the oak tree. Their eyes, once filled with fear and confusion, now reflected a serene gratitude. The ritual had appeased the vengeful entity, releasing the trapped souls from its malevolent grip. As the first light of dawn broke over Willow Creek, the children reunited with their families, the curse broken, and the town bathed in a newfound sense of relief. Amelia Turner, exhausted but triumphant, documented the harrowing tale that had unfolded within the town's darkest corners. The legend of the disappearing children transformed from a nightmare into a cautionary tale, a reminder that sometimes the most insidious horrors lurk beneath the surface of the ordinary. Willow Creek, forever changed by the ordeal, stood united against the shadows that had threatened to consume it. The oak tree, once a symbol of dread, now served as a testament to the resilience of those who faced the unknown and emerged from the depths of darkness into the light of a hopeful dawn. Nestled on the outskirts of a small, forgotten town stood an old mansion, its faded facade hiding a history steeped in mystery. The town's elders spoke of a cursed artifact that resided within the mansion, a doll with soul-piercing eyes that seemed to follow you, and an air of malevolence that clung to it like a sinister shadow. The legend of the eerie doll, was a chilling tale passed down through generations, a tale that few dared to explore firsthand. Enter Rachel Turner, an adventurous journalist with a penchant for uncovering the truth behind legends. Intrigued by the town's whispered stories, Rachel set her sights on the old mansion, determined to unravel the secrets that lay within. Armed with a camera and a fearless spirit, she ventured into the decaying structure, its creaking floorboards and peeling wallpaper telling tales of a forgotten era. In the attic, amidst dusty relics of the past, Rachel discovered a long-forgotten trunk. Carefully prying it open, she found the eerie doll nestled among moth-eaten dresses and yellowing letters. Its porcelain features seemed frozen in a malevolent grin, and its glassy eyes bore into Rachel's soul, as if piercing the veil between the living and the supernatural. Undeterred by the unsettling aura surrounding the doll, Rachel decided to document her findings. As the night fell, she set up her camera in the attic, the only source of light coming from the dim glow of a flickering candle. The air grew heavy with an unnatural stillness as Rachel aimed to capture the eerie essence of the eerie doll. As she reviewed the footage, a shiver ran down Rachel's spine. The doll's eyes, once lifeless, seemed to flicker with an unholy gleam in the recorded images. Determined to delve deeper, Rachel initiated a series of experiments, her skepticism slowly giving way to an unsettling realization. The legend might hold more truth than she could comprehend. Night after night, Rachel witnessed inexplicable occurrences. The doll seemed to move of its own accord, subtly changing positions when the camera was momentarily turned away. Unsettling whispers echoed through the attic, and shadows danced on the walls as if guided by an unseen force. Haunted by the growing malevolence that clung to the eerie doll, Rachel delved into the town's archives. To her horror, she discovered a forgotten chapter of the mansion's history, an enigmatic figure named Isabella, who, centuries ago, was rumored to have practiced dark arts and forged a pact with malevolent forces. As Rachel pieced together the puzzle, she realized that the eerie doll was a vessel for Isabella's malevolent spirit. The cursed artifact sought to draw the living into its sinister web, feeding on their fear and trapping their souls in a nightmarish limbo. As the truth unfolded, Rachel felt the tendrils of the curse tightening around her. The doll's malevolent influence grew stronger, and the once inaudible whispers transformed into blood-curdling screams that echoed through the mansion's desolate halls. Rachel, now ensnared in the clutches of the supernatural, struggled to break free from the inescapable nightmare. Desperation led her to seek the guidance of the town's elders, who, upon hearing her tale, revealed a grim solution. The curse could only be broken by returning the eerie doll to its resting place, an ancient grave hidden deep within the overgrown cemetery. Armed with this knowledge, Rachel embarked on a harrowing journey, the malevolent whispers and spectral apparitions dogging her every step. The path to the graveyard was fraught with unseen terrors, each moment pushing Rachel to the brink of her sanity. As she reached the decaying grave, the eerie doll seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly energy. With a determined breath, Rachel placed the cursed artifact on the ancient tombstone. A deafening silence enveloped the cemetery, and the doll's malevolent gaze faded into lifeless porcelain once more. The town, freed from the sinister presence that had plagued it for centuries, slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. The old mansion, now devoid of the eerie doll's malevolence, stood as a silent witness to the horrors of the past. Rachel, forever changed by her encounter with the supernatural, retreated from the town, leaving behind a legacy of a journalist who had dared to confront the darkness. The legend of the eerie doll lived on, a cautionary tale for those who sought to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within the shadows, a tale of malevolence, curses, and the thin veil that separates the living from the supernatural.